Hi, this is Dr. V of BreastCancerConqueror.com and founder of the 7 Essential System. My mission is to empower women around the globe so that they never have to fear breast cancer again. And today, I'm so excited to have my dear friend, Dr. Eric Z. Zielinkski, but I like the Dr. Eric Z much better, much easier to remember. I met Dr. Z at a conference. It was The Truth About Cancer, actually, several years ago. And he's a fellow chiropractor. He started an amazing online ministry that he launched where he looks at natural medicine. He's a health researcher, fellow chiropractor, and just an all-round nice guy. I mean, I just really connected with you right away. And you've been so encouraging and so positive in sharing my mission of hope with women. So thank you for doing that. So today we're going to talk about essential oils, and you are an essential oil expert. So tell us, what exactly are essential oils?
Well, first, Dr. V, thanks for having me. It is an honor and a privilege. Love what you do. Love everything about what you do. Love the cover of your book. I love the colors of your logo. Remember when we first started talking, I'm like, I just love everything. It's just beautiful. You make healthy fun. And so I appreciate that about you. And anything we could do today to help people be more empowered to use essential oils and not fear them, especially people who are trying to prevent or treat a variety of cancers, particularly breast cancer. We can cover that in depth today. That's my goal. That's my mission, is to make these little precious plant-based compounds that people see that could cost up to $200 a bottle and make them just manageable. Because one thing I get, Dr. V, is I get overwhelmed. I get, in marketing, when I used to be a marketing manager in a previous life in the finance world, we used to have a phrase that was known, we used to say, beware of paralysis by analysis. You got to do what you got to do. If you overthink it, you're not going to make the sale. And I take that mindset into what we do today, because someone can go, and I'm sure 90 or plus %, if not everyone listening right now has done this. You go online, you search to Dr. Google, whatever it is you're trying to search, and you get hundreds of thousands of hits, and most of them conflict each other. What do you do? And Dr. So-and-so said this, but Dr. So-and-so says that, and WebMD says this, and the research article says that, and you're like, I don't know what to do. And so when it comes to essential oils, that is compounded sevenfold. Why? Because we have millions and millions of people selling essential oils, and quite frankly, a lot of them are just unqualified. They're not trained in aromatherapy. They don't have our understanding of human physiology. They're not primary care physicians, and they're using these bottles like just willy-nilly. And I want to begin by saying, folks, let's set the stage. I mean, these oils are extracted from plants. Again, what you're looking at is a 20 milliliter bottle. You have roughly like 350 or so drops in here. It takes about like 40 some pounds of lavender flowers to get this. Like just try to fathom that for a minute. 40 pounds. Like how many plants of lavender just to get this little itty bitty bottle? We're talking pure plant medicine, undiluted, concentrated, that has unbelievable power. Unbelievable power, because most of our ancestors used these plant-based compounds, but in their natural form, burning the leaves, burning the roots, making poultices and salves. They didn't have this stuff. I don't care what you hear online. Jesus didn't use frankincense and myrrh. It didn't exist back then the way that we know it today. How do I know that? Well, because steam distillation was invented until 9th century AD by Arab alchemists. Okay, what does that mean? Treat these things with respect. So what are essential oils? They are what people call the lifeblood of the plant. No, they're not the lifeblood of the plant, but they are lipid-soluble, fat-loving, water-hating compounds, or volatile organic compounds, which means they evaporate immediately. So that's what happens when you walk into a rose garden and you brush up against a rose and you smell the rose essence. Well, that's because those literal physical particles you can't even see being emitted into the air, they touch the nasal mucosa in your nose and say, hey, there's something here. It's called a rose. I'm like, oh. So it's the physical particle of smell that you enjoy when you're cutting a lemon or a lime on your cutting board, and you just enjoy the essence of lemon or lime in the air because there's physical particles being emitted. So imagine if you can extract those particles, and you can through steam distillation. and other methods. So they are filled with ketones and esters and alcohols and things that we learn, terpenes, in chemistry class, but there's no nutrition. There's no vitamins or minerals or anything that to keep us alive. So they're not essential at all, quite frankly. They help. So they're known as essential because they were supposed to be known as the essence of the plant. And that's fun, it's poetic, but the bottom line, we could live without these things. But in my opinion, I'd much rather have them because they make my life a lot easier.
That's right. That's right. I know. I was introduced to essential oils back in the late 80s before they really became very popular. And I've used them. I used them on my children when they were growing up. And now I use them on my grandchildren. I use them at home on our pets. I mean, I just love them, love them. So tell us a little bit, just briefly, so people understand, why are essential oils so powerful? How does the chemistry interact and affect our body?
You know, the chemistry affects in a number of different ways. When it comes down to it, it all boils down to the power of smell when you're using traditional aromatherapy. And that we have to remember three things, or we have to remember that oils are used in three ways. One is you can ingest them, and you really can. We can talk about safe, yes or no's, but you can. Number two is you inhale them. That's known as traditional aromatherapy. Right behind me, I think right there, right, is my diffuser. That is a steam diffuser that emits microparticles of water and microparticles of essential oils. And I'm just enjoying the vapors. And what that does is trigger the olfactory system, which lets my brain, the primal brain known as the limbic system, let them know that, hey, something's happening here. It actually can trigger a sympathetic response in your brain to do everything, like literally burn fat. It could help curb hunger. It could help increase mood. It could trigger your body to kill cancer cells, also known as apoptosis, because the chemicals are telling your brain what to do, or triggering a response in your brain that your brain responds in such a way. And so it's the power of smell. And science is only recently truly understanding the essence of what smell can do to people. Also, you know, we need to keep in mind, don't think, and now maybe more so because chemists are becoming more creative, but up until the last decade or so, all your drugs and all these lotions and potions and things that we see out in the market, they are synthetic versions of what we find in plants. It's not like chemists were just inventing chemical structures in their mind. Like they would extract, for example, the analgesic pain relieving properties from the birch tree, which we know helps people relieve pain. And they're like, oh, let's extract this. Let's mimic it and let's create a pill and let's call it aspirin. So why don't we go back to birch instead of going to aspirin? Same thing with wintergreen, has the same similar chemical structure as birch. You extract wintergreen essential oil, that's extremely powerful for pain relieving. So when you look at it, the bottom line is that what we use today, our food flavorings, our synthetic smells, your aerosols, your drugs, 9 times out of 10, they're based off of chemical structures in the plant. And so that's what they are, folks. And with that said, there's so many different things about them that are beneficial, but I'll leave you this because this is really powerful. Because I don't think enough people use them topically. Why? Because they just don't know. And my job is to educate them. And that's why I've written the books I have and created the masterclasses I have, so they get the foundational principles. So topical application done correctly, not just neat, meaning straight. You want to dilute these things always. If you apply them the right way over your skin, your bloodstream the chemicals will penetrate into your bloodstream within minutes, literally minutes. And there's been clinical trials that actually show within 5 minutes, chemicals from the essential oils can be detected in the blood. Within 20 minutes, there's full concentration. And after an hour and a half, they're gone, completely metabolized. So what does that mean? If you have a systemic condition, if you have metastatic cancer, if you have chronic fatigue, if you have pain, fibromyalgia, whatever it might be, and if you want good phyto plant-based chemicals to get into your bloodstream, topical application of essential oils is the way to go. And you don't have to worry about side effects if you're doing them the right way, because they're very safe.
So what is the right way? That's a big question people often ask. I have all these essential oils, but how do I use them correctly?
Yeah. So we have 3 ways. We have internal use, we have inhalation, and we have topical. So inhalation, you have my little diffuser. You got about 150, maybe 200 milliliters of water in this water tank. You could put anywhere from 5, 6, 7 drops of essential oil in that and let it run. And there's a fill line. I'll give you instructions. That's a very simple way of enjoying inhalation. I have my little prop here, my aromatherapy inhaler. Everyone who uses essential oil should get this. Looks like a lipstick tube. You can get this for a couple bucks on Amazon. And what you do is you open it up, and you can see there's a glass tube inside that encases a cotton swab. And what you do is you put about 20, 30 drops of essential oil in there. And what you have is on-the-go aromatherapy whenever you need it. And this is especially key for people who battle with anxiety, stress, or athletes who want a quick boost while they're working out, because oils have been shown to give you energy, increase your VO2 max, and they can do a lot of different things. But I like this. It's on the go. It's put in your pocket, your purse, at your car, in your office, wherever you want. What else? I got all my props here. A spritzer bottle. So this is really cool for a number of reasons, because I really help people, Dr. V, I really help people minimize the environmental toxins that are literally killing them, whether it's hand sanitizer, aerosols, cleaning products, whatever. People don't realize that they're putting literal cancer-causing agents on their skin, and they're emitting them into the air. And they wonder why them and their kids and their pets are sick all the time. Right. So this is a solution for that. And you can make a spritzer. And a spritzer can be used for a number of things, just to have a nice aromatic benefit in the air, actually to treat a number of different things. You can clean countertops with it. You can use it as hand sanitizer. And a good simple solution is you can get a bottle just like this. This is a 2-ounce bottle on Amazon, real cheap, again, a couple bucks. And you put about 20 drops of witch hazel, which is an astringent. You can put 20 drops of an organic grain alcohol, 190 proof or above, which is basically Everclear. It's like moonshine. But it's the only thing that really helps the oils and water mix, because the problem is if you don't do anything, the oils are going to be suspended on top and it doesn't really mix well. And you can add about 20 drops of essential oil, fill it with water, and you're good to go. Like, that's a way of enjoying the inhalation benefits of these oils. Yep, that's my cologne.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't use Armani. And not only that, but that's how my family and I use hand sanitizer, because triclosan, folks, has been a registered pesticide since like 1969. And that chemical is in most of your hand sanitizers. It's in a lot of your toothpastes. It's in a lot of your over-the-counter body care products. And so people don't realize this stuff, right? So that's inhalation. There's other ways, steam, all this other stuff. So when it comes down to it, safety is like just what I shared with you, using the ratios and using the recipes that are on my website. Just keep it simple. Don't be, dropping 50 drops in your diffuser. Some people just think more is better. In fact, that's not the case with essential oils, right? Right. Topical application is very key to keep in mind that our skin has not been designed, in my opinion, has not been designed by God to come in full contact with plant-based chemicals in their pure, undiluted form. Again, I challenge anyone who argues me, because you're not going to go into a lavender field and see a pool of lavender oil. It doesn't exist. We have to extract it. It's a very highly processed product. It's natural, but it really isn't. Think about that.
Very potent. Yeah.
Yes.
Extremely potent.
And it's manufactured, extremely processed, and it's purified, and it's refined, and it's to the point where it is absolutely just pure chemical and plant-based chemical. Okay. So with that said, don't think you could just put a drop anywhere and feel you're going to be good. Because people have done that, lots of people. And there's adverse reaction reports out there, and it's pretty shocking. People are burning themselves, causing what's known as sensitization, which is a contact dermatitis. They're creating rashes and just bad stuff. So anyway, a rule of thumb is you want to stick with standard aromatherapy dilutions. And what's a dilution? Well, you have this highly concentrated oil. To dilute it, meaning to make it less potent, you would use a carrier oil. And there are a number. We got coconut oil, olive oil, your normal healthy cooking oils, grapeseed oil. You can use jojoba, sweet almond, shea butter works, evening primrose oil. There's a number of things you could use, but you have to have something that acts as a base. And so a rule of thumb to think about is a 2% dilution is safe for all adults in general, unless there's some sort of skin sensitivity. For children and any special population like geriatric patients or pregnant women, you want to go under a 1% dilution. What does that mean? Okay, A little bit of math. Okay. So get out your paper and pencil, but trust me, it's worth it, because once you get it, the basics down, you'll understand it. And if you don't want to worry about math, don't worry about it. I got a chart you can download on my website. So there are 600 drops per ounce. Okay. So if you're using an ounce of a carrier oil, like an ounce of sweet almond, for example, an ounce of jojoba as your base, if you want a 1% dilution of that, 1% of 600 is 6. Simple. So that's 6 drops of essential oil in total
into an ounce of carrier oil.
That's 6. That's 1%. So if you want a 2% dilution, that's 12 drops. If you want a 5% dilution, that's 30 drops. We get a little uncomfortable above 10%. That's when I'm telling you something, that's concentrated. People don't realize. So people that are adding 1-to-1 ratios here, you're asking for trouble. You really are. So stick with about 2, 3, 4, 5%, depending on what you're trying to do. Heavily dilute it for kids, especially pets, babies, geriatric patients, pregnant mamas, and keep it to that stuff. Keep it simple. And internal use, that's a whole nother discussion, but just don't put oils into your water and drink them, folks. Don't put oils right into your mouth. You're going to burn your esophagus. You could use gel capsules. It's so easy. Get a gel capsule. A lot of your favorite brands sell beadlets and things like that. Just be careful. You can add oils in your cooking, which is great. I mean, a drop of cilantro and lime in my guacamole is like heaven to me. I love flavoring food with them. And think about it. What do you think your root beer is flavored with? What do you think your Coca-Cola is flavored with? Anything that you taste that's a processed food on any level, I don't care if it's organic, non-GMO, anything you taste is an essential oil-based type of product, which can be either real essential oil or fake synthetic essential oil. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a fake synthetic essential oil because Coca-Cola is not going to want to pay for the real deal.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, it's all about dosing. And when you got your Coca-Cola and you got this and you got that, we're looking at micro doses, like little parts per billion. So when people, there are certain oils you want to stay away from internally. There's a whole list on my website. Out of the scope of this talk, I don't want to, bore people with all the details, but just know it is safe, folks. People have been ingesting essential oils forever. Like, it's just fine.
Awesome. And speaking about, your information, we do have a wonderful gift that you've offered. You have an amazing masterclass on essential oils, and we're going to gift that to our listeners. So thank you so much. And they'll have access to 10 videos and some bonuses. And it's an amazing production. I've seen several of them, and you've done such a great job. So personal, so educational, and really good quality. So I'm excited about sharing that with everybody. So I have a question about breast cancer specifically. We know that certain oils may be more beneficial for certain, diseases or symptoms in the body.
Yeah.
Can you give me your top 3 when it comes to breast cancer?
For symptoms or specifically for the cancer itself?
For the cancer itself.
Well, I can't because there's more. I got a list. Got a list. Seriously.
Okay.
Don't limit me, Dr. V.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to keep it simple here.
You're killing me over here. No, I got a list. I literally did a literature review, and there are dozens of oils that have been shown to help with cancer. But here's a list, folks. This is proven research suggesting, however, I want to keep in mind, I'm literally a trained public health researcher that's at odds with himself every time I have this discussion. I have this discussion all the time with people because we don't have a lot of human trials. Right. We have a lot of animal studies, but more we have in vitro cells in a petri dish kind of studies. And just because oils kill something in a petri dish doesn't mean it's going to work on you as a human, because other things kill things in a petri dish, like bleach. You know what I mean? You're not going to put bleach on your breast, for crying out loud. And I put that into perspective because I try to quote research as a way of opening up our mind to consider things. So with that said, that's my disclaimer. But here's what the research does suggest. Here's a list. I'm going to list them out. There's over a dozen. We have black pepper. We have cinnamon. We have clove, cardamom, clary sage, fennel, tea tree, helichrysum, oregano, peppermint, rosemary, and thyme. If I didn't mention it, frankincense too.
Frankincense.
And
Chamomile.
frankincense.
Chamomile?
No.
No, it's not
Could.
on there.
But not on, I haven't seen.
Okay.
I haven't seen. It could be though. Again, we don't know. But I've not seen a research study actually test Roman chamomile or German chamomile for actual cancer. And one thing too, folks, is a little confusing for folks. It confused me at first too. It really did. Extracts and herbs and oils, and they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to remember the steam distillation process. And actually, I explain this in detail in my book because this is really important for you to understand. Steam distillation will change the chemical structure of the plant. So what I'm looking at, let's say this is clary sage, a well-known, well-proven women's health oil for everything from breast cancer to menopause to PMS to labor and delivery. This bottle of clary sage has a completely different chemical structure than the herb clary sage. It's just, keep that in mind. It's not, oh, I can use this. And the perfect example is cilantro. Cilantro, we all know as a great heavy metal chelator. It's great for detoxification. Doesn't work the same in the essential oil world. So the herb benefits don't always equate to the oil benefits, which is fine by me. That keeps me in business because now herbalists can't do what I do. You got to be an aromatherapist. So with that said, two encouraging stories. A friend of ours recently, stage 2, actually, she got tested thermography, I think, with your daughter. She's in Nashville. I think she went down to Chattanooga or something. I forget. But either way, we referred her to you. And our friend, sweetheart, she did everything natural and everything we recommended, everything we said, and everything, the progression of the cancer, according to what her oncologist determined, was stable, but it didn't reverse. And she was using oils and she was using so many other things, food, nutrition, everything. And whatever it was that she felt at the point, and bless her heart, I'm not in that situation. I can't say. But what she did was she decided, she's like, okay, I'm going to take the recommendation. I'm not going to do radiation, but I'm going to try 3 or 4 rounds of chemo and just see what happens. In the process, she kept on using oils. She kept on her nutrition. She kept on everything else that she was doing. And after those 4 rounds, she's completely cancer-free. They can't detect anything. And the oncologist is like, how did that happen? Like, this has never happened in this person's practice after a month or whatever it was, month and a half of treatments. And this is the second woman, and there are many more, but the person that we know. And I say this to say a couple of things. It's just my opinion that we need to be open-minded, and we need to realize that unless we're in that situation, we have no right to judge or look down. And Dr. V, in our world, it's like if you sneeze if you have an ache and pain, if you have an over-the-counter drug med, people look at you like you're like the Antichrist. It's like they expect us. And I will say though, I'm that way though. Like unless I'm on my deathbed, I'm not going to have any medical intervention just because that's how I'm wired. But I need to get a root canal. Like I just had, my God, I have a problem tooth and I'm going to get Novocaine. I don't care what you think. And I'm not going to try to whatever.
We'll talk about the root canal. You don't want a root canal.
Well, whatever. That's what I mean. But you know what? At this point, if I can't do it, if I can't stop the pain, and if I can't heal this thing naturally, I'm going to get my root canal. And I hope not. But at the end of the day, folks, you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
And with that said, I say this to say this. Especially breast cancer, what we have found over and over and over again, the research literally supports that conjunctive essential oil use at the same time as chemotherapy will help make chemo be more effective.
Wow.
Proven. Same thing with your probiotics. Same thing with your digestive enzymes. There's a number of reasons why.
Right.
They act as carriers. They're lipid soluble. Most chemotherapy drugs can't really do the work that they need to do because A, they don't target the right cells, and they're not lipid soluble in the way that they can't really enter the cell. And so essential oils can help. So I'm just saying not to get on chemo, but if you're like a friend of ours who tried hard years, she tried and she's like, you know what, I'm losing hope. I need to get this. I got to try.
Yeah.
And so I just say that this isn't an all or nothing thing in my world. I encourage people to take a truly integrative approach to healthcare, and whatever your decision is, we bless your heart, live with it. You got to live with it, and you have to make an educated decision.
Yeah, and that's what we say, because we do work with women who are using some traditional medicine, and
Yeah.
it's whatever feels good for them and whatever their belief system is and whatever they're comfortable with. The key
Yes.
is to make sure you measure and that you see that you're getting the results that you want. So one last quick question, because of time. Tell us a little bit about your masterclass, and
Yeah.
that way they can get real excited about this bonus that you're offering to them.
Yeah. And before I do, I just thought about this. You could fire your doctor. You want a doctor, that will give you the thumbs up
Yes.
to use oils.
To encourage you, and yes.
Because I hate hearing women tell me, oh, I can't tell my doctors I'm using oils because I'm afraid.
Or vitamin D or vitamin C or whatever.
Anything.
Yes.
You could fire this individual, please.
Yes.
And any doctor, any oncologist worth her weight in gold or salt will know, hey, these oils aren't going to hurt. Like, there's no research, trust me, to suggest that taking oils will counteract your chemo or your radiation or your anything. So anyway, please. Okay. All right. So masterclass.
2 minutes.
A to Z. Done. We got it covered. You want to learn about essential oils? Join my masterclass starting February 20th. We're giving a free viewing. It's a global premiere of my and my wife's, Mama Z's. You're going to love Mama Z, by the way. It's a 10-part video masterclass, and we teach you everything you need to know, literally. In 10 very short lessons. We prized ourselves on this. It was really hard to do. As you can see, I'm not very short-winded. And we kept it to like 15, 20 minutes of video. And my video guys were like, Eric, hold on, stop. But it's literally, folks, give me just a couple hours. Give me a couple hours and I'll teach you what you need to know to get you started and empowered and take away all the guesswork. For the most part. We don't cover every disease known to man, but we cover a lot of them. And we start at aromatherapy history. We touch base on all those 3 uses I included, and we show you how to make capsules and how to properly dilute. We cover cooking with oils, how to make your body care products, cleaning products. And the last 3 lessons are my favorite because we talk about preventing disease, treating disease, and lesson 10 is really more of an ode to cancer patients because we're at a significant, because we're paying people to go to Hope for Cancer. A significant portion of the proceeds of the masterclass are going towards the Independent Cancer Research Foundation, the ICRF. Wonderful. And the ICRF's sole purpose, as you know, Webster started this, the sole purpose of the ICRF is to educate patients and to send them so they could get treatments in places where America doesn't permit or people's insurance doesn't cover it. And we're partnering with Dr. Tony Jimenez and the Hope for Cancer Clinic, and we're sending people to Cancun so they could get away for a month and get treated, and at the very least have a little peace and quiet next to the ocean, and hopefully get some really good, because we've heard a lot of great stuff from our friends that have gone. Yeah, he's awesome. I love him. He's going to be on our podcast too, so... Tell him I said hi. Okay. Well, thanks so much for your time. I always learned a lot from you, and I appreciate everything that you're doing to really share this information about essential oils, because they're such an important aspect of our healing. So thanks so much, Dr. Z. Thanks, Dr. V. I appreciate you. Much love. All right. You too. Bye-bye.